All right, let's record this locally so we can fix it if there are any issues, and we can do a re-upload for the people who don't get to watch this for some odd reason. Okay. Got Allison's blueprint up. Let me close that so we don't accidentally broadcast her blueprint to the internet. I'm not going to do that. If you're looking at us or if you're coming to us live on YouTube right now, I would love to know, where are you YouTubing in from? I don't want to say where are you zooming in from. Where are you watching us from? Kind of interested to know where our squad members come in from. If you're on Zoom, welcome. Let's get started with the blueprint. Like I said, I'm a little bit rusty with the webinars, but I'm excited as well. Okay. Let's just make sure that I'm sharing my screen and we can get the show on the road. Does this guy, Mr. Blueprint, does he look like somebody that you guys might do or don't know? Kaya?
No, I can't see your screen.
Completely from the imagination. Awesome. Kaya, I'm going to ask you, Nicole is sitting in the waiting list. I'm going to ask you to be my lovely co-host for the evening, just because it's going
Gotcha.
to be a lot of work for me to co-host, let people
Cool.
in,
Gotcha.
present, answer questions, and I'm rusty. So, okay. Please let me know if you guys are able to see my screen. I know right now it should be black with a little loading icon, but eventually you should be able to see everything. So when you can see, thumbs up, awesome. Kata already knows what to do. Nicole knows what to do. Kaya, everything looks good. Emil, Kaya, you've got your hand raised. Let's just double
I
check.
mentioned in my
TK
hand,
says
so
looks
I
good.
mentioned your thumbs up. Sorry about that.
No problem. Let's quickly check the chat and then we'll get the show on the road. But this is the blueprint. Welcome to the blueprint. If you're a member of the squad, TK says there's no stream on YouTube. That is terrifying. All right. We're going to carry on anyway, even if there is no stream on YouTube, because I did see myself. So it's a little strange. But if there's no stream on YouTube, I'm going to carry on and then I'm going to upload, because I am recording locally as well. So I will just re-upload and then everyone is going to be on the same page. Thanks for letting me know, TK. Okay, so what is the blueprint about? Well, something that I always say to members of the squad, and also squad, I wanted to let you guys know that the Paid Pillars course has received a massive update. I was really busy this weekend. First, went to a baby shower. I was exhausted, came back. I ate a whole bunch of delicious things I wasn't supposed to, got food poisoning, and then stayed home, couldn't do anything. So I decided to fiddle. And when I did, I added in 6 new modules to the paid pillars. So now it's literally insane in the main brain. It's like nothing out there. It's to the point where by itself, the paid pillars can stand by itself. And then what we're currently working on in the squad is the blueprint, which is basically I want to call it a 12-week challenge, but it's not really. It's basically going from zero to hero. Our blueprint, we're calling him Alistair, Mr. LEG. He has a full name and an actual profile on Upwork, but for the sake of argument, because we don't have permission to put him on blast, he is Alistair. That's his code name here. And we're basically going to be taking things out of Alistair's playbook, and he's going to be showing us how he started on Upwork in 2013, and within a matter of months, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he had already made his 10K month. And I'm going to show you guys bit by bit how he did it, as well as his risk appetite, because this is something really, really different. I am more conservative, whereas brother takes risks. All right, I call him Alistair keeps a job G, because a month does not go by without this guy having at least 5 clients in rotation. So let's go in. The reason why this whole thing started was because success leaves clues. That's something that you are going to hear a lot of. It's my strategy. It's something that I live by. I think that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but I believe that you really should follow tire tracks. So if you see that there are tire tracks on the road, you shouldn't try to blaze a whole new trail, not knowing what you're going to find there. You can leave that for people like Alistair. Whereas you can just follow the tire tracks because they'll lead you to the destination where all the Upwork millionaires reside. Speaking of which, inside the Paid Pillars course, not only are we going to be looking at Alistair, we're also going to be looking at codename Jenna. Jenna is actually one of the freelancers who helped me out when I was just starting out, when I was still quite young, when I was 21 years old, going on 22. And Jenna has made over 1 million on the platform just as a writer as well. And I finally reconnected with her very recently, and she's still writing and she's made over 1 million. And I was just like, what? So success leaves clues, and we are going to study the greats. We're going to study the people who were either there when I was there or there before me. And I just happened to lose touch with them, or I fell out of love with Upwork. So that is the reason why we are here right now. Next, I want you guys to basically meet our fighter. This is Alistair. His fighting style is Upwork MMA. M does not stand for multimedia or advertising or anything like that. It's mixed martial arts. And I would like us to follow his story from rookie to 10K heavyweight contender. Kaya, how am I doing with my martial arts lingo so far? So far,
Very well,
so
good.
cringe. Okay, great. Okay, so we're gonna
Yep.
look at his stats, right? So whenever we look at fighters, we care a lot about statistics. And here are Alistair's stats. He has the following types of wins: marketing strategy, content and copywriting. So when we're looking at his, in tech, we like to say someone has a tech stack. His win type is majority of the projects that he wins have to do with marketing strategy, and then it'll be content and copywriting, and then it'll be market research and analysis, and then social media and design. And I want you guys to really, the smart freelancer who's watching me right now, I want you to be aware of something. He bundles. Even in the way that I'm explaining his win types, marketing strategy is the only one that stands by itself. Everything else, content and copywriting. So he doesn't just do copywriting and he doesn't just do content. He kind of does them together. And if you already have started the blueprint, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not giving away our hard-earned things from the squad for free. No, you have a custom blueprint inside the squad where we basically reverse engineered Alistair and turned him into whatever niche it is that you want to be in. So we literally said to Neuro, we want you to psychoanalyze his entire situation. Literally, we went back in time by 12 years. And Neuro was like, cool. So what if Alistair was someone that knows how to code, but really, really loved designing cars? How could he possibly still make 10K months and do really, really well on Upwork? And what would his keywords be? And so Neuro designed Alistair like that. So people in the squad, you have nothing to be afraid of. You all have your custom blueprints. I'm just sharing with everybody else that this is the blueprint and this is how it works. And so for 12 weeks, we are all going to be in this boot camp, in this MMA boot camp, learning to fight like Alistair, because he's already put in the work for over a decade and successfully schools. So again, market research and analysis. If you look, he's bundled that in together. So he doesn't do market research separately and then analysis separately. He kind of tends to do them together. The other one is social media and design. You're going to see a lot of social media marketers, social media managers, social media strategists. They all like to do things separate. You can do things separate. You can make 10K months. You can finally become a millionaire in rands, but you're not going to become a dollar millionaire putting them in silos. You've got to bring them together and do some bundling for social media and design. And actually about 15% of his projects that got him to where he is happen to do with social media and design. I'm going to go into the nitty gritty of where the big money for him came from. And it's not going to be static like this. You're going to see actual Upwork projects. So, key stats that I want us to note whenever you feel like comparing yourself to Alistair, please don't. He's worked on over 1,000 projects. So, when you see 1,000 proposals sent, doesn't mean he sent 1,000 proposals. It means of all the projects that he has worked on. He's worked on over 1,000, okay? On average, making from $200 to $2,000. So when he was first starting out, he was not charging, you know, a ridiculous amount of money. He was charging around $200. Now, augmented for inflation, we're sitting at around $350 to $500, which is a good start. And his hourly rate started at 20. I would have told him 25 if he was in the squad, but it's good. His rate started at 20, and then within that first year, leading up to his 10K month, he was already doing 55 an hour. So this is a good thing. Now that we've met our fighter, we understand his fighting style, we know his wins by type, we know what makes him a heavyweight. So he's not a welterweight or a lightweight, he is a heavyweight. Let's see how he heavy hits. So far, so good, right, Kaya? I'm like, I'm doing it. The lingo is lingoing. All right, so when did he actually start sparring? He joined the Upwork fight August 24th, 2013. Doesn't he look friendlier now that he's smiling? Opening round strategy, small fixed price projects to warm up and gain credibility. And you're going to see Emil, you're going to see Rebecca, you're going to see Allison, everybody who's received their custom blueprint already, you're going to see that your opening round strategy is identical to exactly how Alistair started. All right, so you're not doing anything crazy. And I just want round of applause for Emil because he's already done his opening round strategy. Like he's done, he's ready, he's warming up now to start actually getting in the ring and sending those jabs. So jabs in this case being sending proposals. Keep up, people. So his area of focus has been delivering high quality work, getting in those reviews ASAP, and then building his confidence for more rounds ahead. So there you go. His opening round strategy, small, easy projects so that he could gain credibility and also confidence. And that is how he did it. Now, we're going to look more into the insights, right? His skill highlight. Everybody has skills. Doesn't really matter. Even if you think you don't, you actually do. His skills, once again, you see everything bundled because if he were to separate everything, and doesn't he look extra cool here? Getting ready to spar. Marketing strategy and plans are put together. So whenever he is looking for projects, even though I've shown you guys the saved keywords that he has right there, when he looks for projects, everything is bundled. Marketing strategy and plans, they go together. Content creation and copywriting, they go together. Research and analysis, they go together. He does not try to separate them because when he puts them together, he is able to do what? Upsell, right? He's able to then create a whole different value proposition for his client. Then when it comes to presentations and slide decks, he likes to bundle those together as well. So presentation and design skills, they go together. Does that make sense? Do we have any questions? And I kind of feel like I really, really, really want to check on YouTube, even though I'm being told, girl, let it go, let it go. Let me just quickly check on YouTube. Still, I can't help it. I gotta know how bad is it over there. Any questions while the screen sharing is paused? Okay, so right now the stream's current bit rate is at 800 kilobits per second. So I am supposed to be streaming, but doesn't seem like anything's happening. I will resume my screen share. So now I want you guys to note the keywords that Alistair uses to get the KOs. He uses keywords like marketing plan, either in his saved searches or on his profile. So that's just something that I want you guys to be aware of. Market research, marketing plan, social media strategy, copywriting. And then when he sees those types of projects, he bundles everything together so that he is able to upsell, and it's easier to upsell. And why do I keep saying that? Because here's his fight plan, aka the entire strategy. Every single week, and you guys should already see this inside your custom blueprints, he has a serious weekly submission game. If you go now to his Upwork and you take a look at how many projects he's landing per week, he applies to about 30 to 40 projects a week. Now, I know connects cost money, or as Alice would say, that's the cost of doing business. But I realize connects cost money. However, at some point, you have to sit to your and think to yourself, as a member of the squad, when we do our saved searches, I'm already going to teach you guys how to not spend more than 16 connects on a project. Yes, there's a little URL slug shortcut that I'm going to show you so that you don't spend more than 16 connects on a project unless you're boosting. We know connects cost a lot of money, but at some point, you have to say, as a business owner, this is capital. This is an investment into my business. He sends between 30 to 40 proposals a week. You got to do it because he understands something called the 3% rule. If you picture, and I'm going to share this in the updated version of the pay pillars, but I might as well practice here. If you picture the entire Upwork ecosystem, which is about, by the way, 8 million clients versus 12 million freelancers. But on average, the average client will hire up to 4 people at the same time. And the average budget is like 5,000 United States dollars. That's a pie. That's a lot of money that we're talking about on average for one person. So if you can just remember this about the 3% rule, 3% of clients are holding their credit card in hand, ready to buy right now. Whereas the remaining 97% either need time to think about it, either need time to look at a couple more proposals, either need time to consider it or go away and get more permission and then come back and then make that decision. But 3% is ready to buy. And so if you're repeatedly sending proposals, you are increasing the odds. It's a game of statistics. You are increasing the odds of you showing up for that 3% that is ready to buy when they're ready to buy, right? So it's kind of like when we look at client stats and we see whether or not this client has a 70% or a 78% or an 80% or a 90 or 100% hire rate. This kind of tells us, according to the 3% rule, how ready to buy is this individual. And we already know if they have a 0% hire rate or they have a 0% hire rate, but they have spent a lot of money, they take a long time to hire. And so if it's a project that we really, really want, we can add to our fight plan that we're playing the long game with this one. All right. So you want to aim for quantity when it comes to sending proposals for those first couple of projects. But at the same time, even though we're playing the numbers game, you want to still customize. So you still want to use a euro. Then the other target rate that I want you guys to be aware of, inside the squad, we crush it. We've got Bongi, who's got a 100% view interview rate. Amazing. We've never had that before in less than 24 hours. But in general, out there on the market, not inside the squad. Inside the squad, we deal with stats that are out of this world. But out there in the market, you have to understand that you are dealing with a close rate of 3 to 5%. They seem, once again, like small numbers. But if you're sending 30 to 40 proposals a week, a close rate of 3 to 5 proposals is not bad at all. In fact, it is identical to what it is that you'll see on Alistair's profile when you look at his profile month after month after month. It's about 3 to 5 active projects. So basically, the key here is you have to keep swinging until you land your hits. So that is the fight plan. All right, now winning the big fights. Here he does not look very handsome. I don't know what happened. But anyway, his big major win happened July 2014. So this was when Alistair made his very first over 10K month, okay? This was during his second year in Upwork. I did my very first 10K month, I would say maybe my 6th year, and it was just not sustainable. Fun fact, I'm probably going to release a video maybe sometime next week where I talk about it, but I am doing the 10K month challenge one more time. So while members of the squad are going to be in like fighting for their lives in the Blueprint bootcamp, I'm going to do the 10K month challenge. This time I've got a lot better tools. I think I'm going to do it in a much more sustainable way. And whether or not I succeed or fail, I'm going to be documenting the process. So wish me luck. But he did his 10K month, his second year in Upwork. And the biggest projects he happened to land happened to be in creating healthcare marketing collateral. For that, he got close to $2,000. And then he did marketing and social media for another company. And for that, he got over $4,000. And then on top of that, these are fixed rate projects. On top of that, he was, of course, doing his hourly projects here and there. So on average, yet again, he is Alistair keeps a job G. So what I just mentioned here were just two major projects. You know, there were three other hourly projects that he was also working on for him to make his 10K month with relative ease. Because if you're doing fixed rate projects, you're getting rewarded for speed. If you're doing hourly projects, that's when it is a slog. And the reason why I did a 10K month, and I'm just going to put it out there, was because I was working hourly. And you could do it. You could do a 10K month hourly, but it is going to darn near kill you. So we're going to do a healthy mix now of fixed rate and hourly projects, maybe even just fixed rate, to see how we can get to 10K in a sustainable way and to see if we can get to 10K. Because remember, the challenge is all contracts have to come from inside Upwork. They all have to be leads. Either I send a proposal, which is outbound, or I get invitations, which is inbound. But I am not allowed to go to LinkedIn groups, to Facebook groups, or any other social media platform and solicit clients. So that's the other part of the 10K challenge. So it is back, and I will keep you in the loop about how I'm getting on. So now let's do an analysis of Alistair's largest contracts, because we've figured out how long it took him to get to his 10K month. He did it his second year on the platform. We saw how he got his 10K month. It was a mixture of hourly and pretty large fixed rate projects, which you guys have seen them make more than $1,000 in less than 5 days challenge. You've seen me do it in real time inside the squad. You've seen me grab a $200 project and upsell it to 1,200 in less than 4 days. So you know that those types of numbers are doable. But we want to see like big numbers. We want to see more than $10,000. Like we want to see more than $20,000, more than $30,000. Do those types of contracts exist? And because this is the blueprint, who wants to guess? Let me check the chat. Before I carry on, is it possible to get blocked on Upwork when sending too many proposals? That's a very good question, Allison. And I've personally never experienced Upwork being mad at me for sending too many proposals, because you have to click on apply now, write the cover letter, follow the instructions, and then send. Click on apply now. So unless you're somehow using a bot to send a mass of proposals at the same time, I don't see you manually getting in trouble for sending a lot of proposals. If you see something and you've got the connects and you like it, go for it. So no, I don't. Yeah, it's probably possible, but if you're doing it using manual controls, I don't see how you could get in trouble. While I pause the screen share, let's check if YouTube has any questions. That's actually a really good question, Allison. Sita says, I'm the only one waiting. There's nothing playing. Sita, you are the only one waiting. There's nothing playing. Let me just pop the link to our, clearly something is not happening. I'm going to pop the link to this session so that Sita can join us. Hopefully it works. I'm going to put it inside our chat on YouTube. I'm not really sure why it's not working. Okay, Sita, hopefully the link does not get deleted, because YouTube hates it when we take people off the platform. But hopefully I can see myself just fine. So I don't know what's going on and why I'm not playing. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Alistair's largest contracts, as well as tips for anyone who's new on the platform. But before we Guchan, do we have any more questions? Because Allison asked a really, really good question. Okay, no questions. So this is what it looks like. Alistair did good, right? Look at that, guys. 40K here, 23K here. And yes, his name does start like that. I figured I'd keep it just in case you guys were curious. But I think he made, I think 15,000 or something. And yes, it was an hourly contract for 55K. So you can't even at 55, sorry, $55 an hour. So you can't even be like, oh, it was a fixed rate project. This one was, and this one was as well. But this one was an hourly project. So the largest contracts here highlight diversified skills and marketing strategy. The very first one was for marketing strategy. The second one that you guys are able to see, let me see if I can annotate my screen. This very one that you guys are looking at here is for web development. And this one here is for a mixture of web development, web content, SEO, as you can probably imagine, and brand management. So you can see the more we bundle, the more money we can make. So the more you bundle, project starts to range in value from $6,000 to way over $40,000. And so his hourly rates for the projects, because you can see here, we're looking at 55, his hourly rates did vary, but they increased over time. And with later contracts, he was reaching all the way up to $85 an hour. Now, I'm only showing you guys a snapshot, like ripping out maybe a leaf from his book, just a page. But there is so much more of this, so many more of these 40K, 23K, 15K, 23K, 22K type projects. This was just all I could fit on the screen in this way. But that is something that I want us to all be learning from. All right, and I continue. So here are some strategies for landing the high value contracts. The first thing that I want you to do, and you guys already have it in your blueprints, position yourself as a broad industry title and strategy expert. So you're bundling. In each and every one of your blueprints, you've seen your brand new Upwork titles courtesy of Alistair and Neuro. So both of them together gave you guys new titles. Use them, love them, embrace them. Trust me, it's acid tested. All right. So an example would be looking at a contract for marketing strategy, because he has positioned himself as broad industry. Let's say in this case, it's marketing and strategy expert. This is perfect. Typically, these types of things where you will be doing double duty, where you will either be a marketer and at the same time you will be doing strategy, and at the same time you will be a project manager. Whatever you're doing, triple duty, double duty, quadruple duty, whatever, however many duties, you will find yourself getting paid serious coins. Let's think back. At some point, Allison and I were on a project together, and I came on for marketing strategy. At some point, I was also doing legal compliance. And at another point, I was doing project management. So I was doing about 3 people, 3 different projects at the same time. And the value of the project at the end was something like $35,000. Not because I was so brilliant or any of those things, is that you come in your role of marketing strategist, you notice that there's something missing. Why don't we have legal compliance? Why don't we have such and such a thing? Who is our point person of contact for XYZ? When you ask those questions and the client does not have answers for you, and you know it's something you can do, raise your hand, right? This has nothing to do with a risk appetite. Raise your hand and say, okay, well, while we wait for you to get someone that actually has those skills, let me lay the foundation so that we can at least move this train along. And at the end, you provided way more value than they would have gotten had they hired 3 different individuals. And for you, even though you've done 3 different contractors' work, you've made quite a substantial amount for yourself. So be okay with bundling. things for yourself. So when you're targeting large contracts in, say, marketing strategy, you want to highlight business acumen, which is exactly why when a lot of people wonder, well, how does BCom accounting, Emil, link with marketing? It does. With the minute you start to highlight your business acumen and your ability to create strategies and roadmaps for success, even though you're a marketer, that is when you start to enter the 10K, 12K, 15K territory. Whereas for someone who's just saying, oh, I'm just a marketer, I just want to do social media management, you will always be fighting for your life at maximum 10K, right? Like maximum. And that is when you're doing video editing, when you're creating all the collateral and all the assets and writing the content and coming up with a strategy and deciding the content calendar and creating the aesthetic and doing all of that work. Again, you're bundling, but you're playing at such a lower level. You're not playing at a high stakes level. So when you add in elements like data analysis or business acumen, that is when you kind of upgrade it a little bit. You could have come in at a social media manager, but you upgraded a little bit, and now you're playing with the big boys. And that's how you make the 25K or the 40K or the 30K. And it's not something I'm making up. These are real life, actual numbers that I want you to all start being comfortable with seeing on your screen because they're real, because they happen. You can make $1,000 in an hour. I've done it. You can do it. You can make 1,000 United States dollars in an hour. You can make 15,000 rands in 15 minutes. It is possible. So I don't want you guys to even think of having complexes on me. Do we have a deal? I want to see some thumbs up before we carry on to the next slide. I also want to talk to you about what your proposals are supposed to emphasize. Mbali has her hand raised. What's up?
I made a mistake, Bailey. I wanted to give you a thumbs up.
Yay! Thanks for the thumbs up. So the thing about Alistair's proposals, and this is our proposals. We do this through the PSS framework, which everybody should know now. Everyone should be aware of it. The PSS framework is all over YouTube. Neuro took the PSS framework and kind of like turned it into something else. Neuro is ridiculous, as you guys know now, but you always want to have a long-term strategy or commitment inside your proposal. The client needs to feel like I'm about to hand over my baby to this person, and when I get back, they'll know their ABCs. That's what I want you to think about. It's like, this is the baby that the client is handing over to you. The last thing they want is the baby to, if they had a little ponytail going, now the baby's hair's all fallen out. I don't know if you guys did in life orientation or whatever, you ever had to take care of egg. Please don't scramble your egg. Please don't fry the egg. Don't eat the egg. Take care of the egg so that on Monday you still have an egg to bring to school. Don't sit on the egg. That is essentially what it's like when the client is handing over their business to you. They want, yes, to feel like they've been understood, they've been heard, they've been seen, and all of that good stuff. But at the same time, they want to feel like you're going to grow this baby with them. You're not just going to take the baby, extract as much as you can, go buy yourself a BMW and deuces. They want to feel like there is a long-term plan here. Do you want to come on board as a business partner? Implicit, not explicit, because like there's money involved. And no, we're not doing that. We're trying to get paid. So do you have a long-term strategy for the client? In the squad, what we do is we just give away step one. And either the client can use step one or respond back to us, or for Mpo, they literally go, it's like you spoke to the soul of my project, which is like the ultimate compliment. And that happens because members of the squad understand their clients' buyer psychology to a T. We know exactly what it is we need to say to this client to agitate them on certain symptoms, not pain points, but certain symptoms that they may or may not be aware of. The other thing that you have to do, which is what we do inside the squad, is we use cross-functional marketing techniques. That is a mixture of sales psychology. That is also a mixture of dark marketing. That is a mixture of neuromarketing. We basically take everything that you have told us, and the question we ask ourselves is, she is saying or he is saying all of this, and he's saying all of this because obviously this is what he's trying to accomplish. But why? Or when a client asks you additional questions, sure, you can answer the additional question and be on your way, but you can also ask yourself, what is the reason why? What is the symptom that this additional question is revealing? Do they have trust issues? Is there maybe a project that they worked on in the past where the freelancer left them high and dry? Those are the types of things that you should be answering as well when you're answering the additional questions, because then it becomes like, how do they know that? They must be different, that kind of thing. And then we always do measurable results and growth tactics when we do our proposals. We try to keep them short, but even in there, we give the clients metrics or KPIs that they can judge our work by. And it's always a really gentle CTA of let's continue this conversation. So that is a cute little tip for you guys where your proposals should emphasize that regardless of how many you decide to send a week. But now you know people who win in the big leagues, and by the by, only about 15%, 10 to 15% of all freelancers on Upwork make about $150,000 per year. So if you're not making six figures on Upwork, you're like in that majority of people making like 50 to 75K. If you're not even making that much, then you put yourself in like the lower quadrant of people, and that's not what we want. No, when you're in the paid squad, we do want you to be on the upper end of that. We want you to be one of the freelancers making the $150,000 per annum. And there's so much money changing hands on Upwork. It is insane. So for those people who think that the place is just overrun with scammers or there aren't any projects or there's no money, please let them think that, because there's less competition for us. There's so much money changing hands on Upwork. And like I said, on average, the average Upwork client spends $5,000 per project. And the average Upwork client wants to hire at least 4 candidates every time they put out a project. So with those stats, use them to understand not showing up is to your own detriment. You got to show up. If you don't show up, then you don't win, right? And then you add in the 3% rule that I've already shared with you guys. All right, so let's carry on and take a look at Alistair's strategy. The other thing that he does or did when he started out, and it's a tip that newbies can use, everybody except for Emil, because Emil's way ahead of the curve now, start by gaining trust with smaller projects. Build your profile by successfully completing smaller fixed price jobs related to content creation, if that is your niche. Remember, Alistair's a marketer. He started off with content creation. Then he did SEO. Then he eventually felt comfortable enough to do strategy. So we are literally taking things out of his playbook, or out of his 5 plan, if you want to put it that way. This way, you're going to showcase your skill range and start accumulating positive reviews. So the big mistake you should not make is, and this is something that I see so many people do, I don't know if it's intentional. If it's intentional, stop it. If it's not, try harder. Content creation, content creation, content creation, content creation, SEO, 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 SEO. And before you know it, just like an actor, you become typecast. So you don't want to take on the same projects over and over and over again in the beginning. Okay. As time goes by, as you start to say, okay, I like this type of work, then you can do more of that type of work. But in the beginning, variety is the spice of life. You need to try everything at least once. Content creation, SEO strategy. He was doing it all. That way, it showcased his what skill range, and at the same time, he was accumulating positive reviews, future-proofing his profile, because you never know. Maybe AI will get to so sophisticated and so amazing, and there won't be such a thing as bot tails, to the point where content creation on Upwork will no longer be a niche, but it'll be replaced by something else. So at least SEO and strategy are still skills that I have that I can fall back on. But if I'm just content creation, SEO, I'm making myself redundant much faster. So that's something that you have to be really careful about. The other thing that we are doing in the squad, and I highly encourage all of you to do, is to demonstrate return on investment and value to the client. Every client, they want to see value for their money. This is a key point. You, when you work with me or you hire me or you work with me inside the squad, the very first question that I always get, on the YouTube comments, not even inside the squad. Squad members are ridiculously chill about this, but like the first question I get from people who will never be in the squad is, when can I expect to start winning? How soon can I get results? What can I expect to get? Gimme, 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 gimme. And it's like, hold on, player, but every single client wants to see value for their money. So what you want to do is frame your services as an investment, and you need to also explain how your work is going to drive the results within the proposal. We do that automatically in the squad, but you have to think about that. That is a secret that all the freelancers that came before us that have made the millions, that is something that they've all successfully managed to do, is that they explain how they're able to drive results like increase sales, increase brand awareness, or if you're dealing with SEO, then at least higher traffic, right? And so even inside your proposals, you want to use keyword targeting. We call it neurolinguistic programming, we call it mirroring, we call it dark marketing. We do a whole bunch of stuff, but you don't need to know what it's called. You just need to use keyword targeting inside your proposals so that you're targeting the client on what it is that they're going to get out of their investment. If they're saying we want to do SEO, then you know they want to increase their traffic. And so when you do your keyword targeting inside your proposal, you're going to talk about how much traffic percentage-wise they can expect to see over the course of however long. And don't be afraid to talk about timelines, because that is exactly how you guarantee that you'll be working with a client over the long term instead of quick projects, especially as time goes by. In the beginning, quick projects, good. But as time goes by, what Alistair has done, which I think is really, really cool, is have a mixture of quick projects as well as long-term projects. We go into super depth with that inside the squad. Here, I can only tell you as much as I can tell you. Then you also want to optimize your profile and proposals around high value keywords, similar to Alistair's top projects. So I went and I showed you the top projects that he's gotten paid 40K, 23K, 10K for, right? Those are the major for a marketer. If you're a marketer, I hope you are scribbling like crazy. Marketing strategy, huge. SEO and digital marketing, massive, still now in 2024, and I'm sure even in 2025. Content creation and copywriting bundled together. This is like the third time I say this because I cannot not say it. If you're going to do content creation, whether you're going to do it on social media or websites, or you're going to do it with a web developer, or you have a web development team working with you, ironically, it's the next thing, but I wasn't even thinking about that. Content creation is not creating a whole bunch of stuff that goes on websites anymore. Content creation is writing content for apps. Content creation is creating apps for social media. So if you're a social media manager and you say, I don't do content creation and I don't do copywriting, get out the game, like for real, like leave now, because done. The industry does not have time for people like you. You need to make way for people who will do the work. If you're a funnel builder and you refuse to do copywriting, get out, because copywriting is part of the course. It is part of the game now. So it sounds a little harsh, but I'm telling you now what the market, what your ICA, what your ideal client avatar is expecting from you. So if you're doing all these strategic things, but you refuse to get creative, which is what you're starting to see, right, guys? It's a mixture of strategy and creativity. That's where the money resides. So if you're saying, I just want to come up with like the brand strategy and like the brand mission and like the direction of the brand and the aesthetic, but I don't want to do the logo and I don't want to create any collateral, get out. You want nothing to do with brand. You don't, because if you want to do brand, you want to build, you want to do everything. You want to learn how to use, I don't know, Adobe Express. You want to learn how to use Illustrator. You want to learn how to do all of those things. It's like someone saying, I want to create videos, but I don't want them to be motion graphics. I want them to just be stop motion videos. Like those are a bunch of pictures to music. You're not really a videographer if you're stringing a bunch of, I mean, it's a type of style of videography. It's beautiful. Stop motion animation is wonderful, but you're not an animator. There's more to it, right? So You can say, I like something, I have a preference for something, but the reality is if you're stubborn, you're not going to get to the million. Maybe you'll make it to 5 figures and just be comfortable there, and that's okay. But that's not what the blueprint is about. Right. So that's not what this is about. This is not why you gave me some of your time. The blueprint is about how do I get to a million? You get to a million by being both left-brained and right-brained. You get to a million by using both strategy and creativity. You get to a million by bundling them together, not separating them. Comprende? Does that make sense, everyone? So then what he ends up doing, referring to Alistair here, is that he identifies these keywords in job descriptions. And how many times have you as a creative looked up a project, say you're looking for media buying, and they expect you to do copywriting and they expect you to create graphics as well. And you go, well, surely that can't be for me. Can I tell you, Alistair takes that project on. Alistair takes that project on and bills the crap out of the client. And then he knows that he's going to collaborate with Kaya, the media buyer, Mpa, the graphics designer, and Bailey, the copywriter. And together, the Power Rangers, I'm kidding, together, all of us are going to put together something slick and crazy, and each and every one of us is going to get our cut from what it is that we love to do. But by himself, Alistair also understands that he can do it all. So before you run and say, I want to collaborate with other freelancers, let it be something that you also can do, because you need to speak the same language as a graphics designer for you to be able to give them really, really good feedback. You need to speak the same language as a copywriter, because a copywriter hearing, this is cringe, it's missing something, is terrible direction. And I, as a copywriter, will actually sabotage you if you give me that kind of feedback, because it doesn't tell me anything about tone, doesn't tell me anything about who the recipient of the copy is going to be, doesn't tell me anything about what the ideal outcome of the copy is. And so that is when you start to deal with people who don't like you. And it's not that they don't like you, it's that you're really bad at giving directions. The best way to be able to give directions is if you know how to do the work yourself. So that's like a little life hack there. So what he does is he identifies those keywords in job descriptions, and he goes for it. Whereas the average person will shy away from that, which then decreases the amount of competition that he has. And that is another secret. So when you go in, members of the squad, and you take a look at Alistair's profile, you will see that majority of the time he's competing with one of none. Like, he's the only one who dared to submit a proposal, simply because either the client, you're going to see his risk appetite. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Either the client was a nightmare client to somebody else, or the work just seems like it would be impossible for one person to do. He actually just goes for it, which just, it's so inspiring and it's so terrifying. So I'm going to try, and you won't die, by the way. I'm going to show you at the end what happens when you take a bunch of risks back to back to back. In all my history of being on Upwork, I've only ever received one bad review, and that bad review just killed my ego so badly. Alistair's received at least 10 horrific reviews in maybe his first 5 years alone. We'll get there, but I just want you guys to know that risk appetite and having this water off a duck's back attitude is really going to help you a lot as well on Upwork. It is not the end of the world if someone says that maybe your submission sucked. They said the submission sucked, they didn't say you suck. You need to replace that project with another project ASAP. All right, back to Alistair. The other thing that we do inside the squad that I keep trying to tell people they don't understand, I'm not going to give you a template. It does not exist. You have to tailor your proposals to the client's needs. And so if you're going to do that, every single proposal has to be unique. There is no generic, I don't know what to tell you, even the PSS framework inside the squad, it is not all 10 of those steps. It is maybe 1, 2, or 3, and you get to pick and choose which ones it is that you want to use, how you want to use them, in the order that you want to use them. I've read some incredible proposals written by Tato, written by Kaya, that use the PSS framework and they just flip it and they reverse it. And I'm just like, everybody pay attention right now. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. And I'm like, that is exactly how it's supposed to be done. every single proposal is supposed to be unique. So instead of you focusing on yourself, you want to mention how your specific experience is going to benefit their project because it is their baby. They're handing their baby over to you in your boarding school, and they're hoping that you're going to treat this baby like an egg, but not the kind of egg that you scramble or you sit on or you fry or you boil or you leave in a hot car. You need to really care for it, right? And if you want to, you can refer to some similar past projects. If you're a university student, it's even better for you because literally every project that you take on in school can be a case study that you put inside your portfolio. So being in school is like the ultimate life hack when it comes to winning on Upwork. So either way, demonstrating an understanding of your client's business inside your proposal will set you apart from anybody else. And I know it's like every single time we talk about strategy and mindset and inbound marketing, it always comes back down to the proposal, but that is the immediate touch point between you and the client. So I can't help but always talk about the proposal. Then the other things that you want to do is you want to highlight flexibility and adaptability. You want to be able to bundle, like I say, web development and content strategy and SEO and digital marketing. If you do that, it shows that you are polymath. You're someone who is adaptable. You're able to do multiple things, think in different ways, and be super duper creative. If that's not you, think about how you can cultivate that skill. Can I upskill? Can I, if I'm a marketer, can I start to think more like an analyst? What do I need to do to fall in love with math? Do what you have to do because there is a lot of money behind that. Offer a mixture of hourly and fixed rate services, even in one contract. Inside the squad, there is a way where we say to a client, look, I know this is a fixed rate project, but if we go anywhere beyond the scope, here's my hourly rate. We can then let that activate so that you can get everything that you want, both fixed rate and hourly, and everybody's happy. And because of the way that Alistair's bundled things, he has actually positioned himself as a specialist in a high demand area. It's very difficult for you to find someone who's good at SEO, digital marketing, brand development, and web, and specialize in all of those things. So if you do that, you're actually positioning yourself as an expert in a very specific area that has to do with business growth, right? And that allows you to command much higher rates than the average person. So fun fact, from around $20 to say 35, you're in the entry level to intermediate range. From $75 higher, you're officially in the expert range. And so Alistair has put himself in the $80 to $88 an hour range. So he's definitely an expert. And because he bundles basic skills, I think web development now, because of so many no-code tools, I think content strategy, I think SEO, and I think digital marketing are not super high-ticket skills. But when you bundle them together, you create, you know, all the Power Rangers, when they all came together, they created this behemoth that could fight these monsters. That's exactly what he did. So by itself, Red Ranger may not be that strong. Pink Ranger may not be that strong. But when they bundle all of their skills together and they create this one monster, it can really, really fight. And that's exactly what you have to do when you think about how do I differentiate myself. Now, members of the squad who are already doing the blueprint, who've already gotten started, they've got their own little Power Ranger going. So they don't have to worry about that. And for all the Gen Zs, I don't know what kind of an analogy to give you. Power Rangers was that game, like it was that TV show. If you don't know Power Rangers, I don't know what to tell you. Then he scaled his hourly rates every time he had experience. So like I said, he started out at $55 an hour in the beginning for various projects. Others, he was at like 20, 25, 30. Then he gradually increased from 55 to 75 until now he's at 88. So you as a newcomer, as your portfolio grows, as you gain positive feedback, please go ahead. I don't know who needs to hear this. If you're crushing it right now on a specific project that you love on Upwork, while you still have access to that client's back end, because some of the software you license, take your screenshots, make your mini case study, get permission, blank things out, censor information, redact what you can, and add that sucker to your I almost said case study, your portfolio, because how often or how soon again are you going to get that kind of project if you're not looking for it? And the other mistake that a lot of freelancers make is that they get really complacent and really comfortable working with a specific type of client. But then they forget, I won't have access to Monday.com or ClickUp or a really premium version of Notion or a really premium version of this type of software. And the next time I want to get this specific type of project, I can't because I don't have access to that backend. So you want to get those analytics and those stats ASAP, because to license all of that software all on your own without knowing where your next client is coming from is really, really expensive. So don't make that mistake. As time goes by, keep adding things to your portfolio so you can show clients the quality of your work and your ability to deliver the type of project or product that justify those higher rates. Let's check the chat if there's any questions. Rebecca's like, we also had Yo TV. Girl, bye. I don't know if you guys had Power Rangers. Rebecca is our resident. I don't even know if I can say Gen Z. Are you Gen Alpha? She's like a baby. So I have no idea if she knows Power Rangers. Listen, he says, are there any Upwork features or tools that we should not overlook during the challenge? Second question, does networking play a role in scaling on Upwork? Yes, it does. Okay, so on Wednesday, during our 8 p.m. session inside the squad, I'm going to show you guys where I want you all to be networking. It is really, really important because this is essentially what's going to help you increase the amount of views that you're currently getting on your profile without you spending any money whatsoever on advertising. Your view rate is going to go up, and you and Euro are going to be best friends, because you by yourself will probably not be able to feel comfortable in the networking room that I'm about to demand that you put yourself in. So Wednesday, networking at 8 p.m., networking in the squad, and also the theme is networking. So you'll see. What other questions do we have? Are there any Upwork features or tools that we shouldn't overlook during this challenge? There is a new build with Python. Hopefully Rebecca can help improve this, but there is RSS feeds are gone, but there is this cool little feature using Upwork's API that allows us, I think we're using, why can't I remember right now? Okay, I'll remember and I'll tell you guys eventually, but it's an API that allows us basically to know, according to where we don't want our clients to come from, where we want our clients to come from, how much we want to get paid, what their hire rate is, and all the other stats that and filters that I want you guys to focus on. We have a tool that sends, and I believe Zola used it because she was in university at the time and we were both just playing around with Telegram and doing all of that. But there is a way where you can get projects sent to your phone, kind of similar to how we used to do anyway, sent to your phone instantly in like a matter of seconds, the minute after the client hits publish. So probably that's the only other tool you'll need. You do not need anything more than what you have inside the squad. So you have all the tools. You also have, like I said, it is your journal, your roadmap, your blueprint is your journal. You talk to me inside that journal and we go step by step together. Everybody is basically, whoever is taken on the blueprint challenge is having one-on-one every single day. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, so here is the summary, and then we're going to go into Alistair's risk appetite, because life is about balance. First thing, start small, focus on building trust and credibility, bundle your skills, content, web strategy, put them together for greater project scopes. And then emphasize ROI when you're dealing with clients, and also tell them what the clear outcome is going to be in the proposal. And as time goes by, leverage feedback and case studies to win larger projects. Take the feedback and ask for a testimonial. That sounds bizarre, but literally let the client review your project. And if for some odd reason feedback gets hidden, I don't know, Upwork is on one. Literally go. Some clients are okay with you adding them on LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn and be like to the client, you know, we worked on this project together, right? Look it. Your review disappeared. Can you please leave me a testimonial? Leverage that, because then it tells Upwork, all Upwork needs is your client's LinkedIn to verify that they're a real human being. So then it tells Upwork that there's something there that, okay, for instance, Rebecca is really good at data analysis. So we should probably promote her more to more of these types of projects of data analysis using Excel. Then the other thing that you want to do is you want to specialize in in-demand niches for higher value opportunities. If you are typing in media buyer and they say they want someone that's good with Pinterest and TikTok and yada, 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 and you can do all of it, but you prefer one platform over another, please just do all of it. It's now in the blueprint. If you're not in the blueprint, you can do whatever you want, but in the blueprint, do it all. There is no doing. Do it all and do it as best as you can. And also make it really clear to the client, listen, I'm a TikTok person or I'm a Pinterest person, but I can, of course, repurpose reels and put them on TikTok and vice versa. But ideally, this is how it works for me, but I can do it all for you. They're not going to be mad at you. They'll just be really glad they found someone that can handle the entire suite for their content marketing. Trust me. Specialize in those in-demand niches in order to get more higher value opportunities. And then increase your hourly rate strategically as you grow. Mind you, you'll see inside your blueprints, we don't talk about hourly until we start to do what? Consultations. I didn't even talk about consultations here. This is why you want to be in the squad, because you're going to miss out on a lot of things. There's a lot of good value, or as people say, gems right here. But if you're in the squad, you get way more. Okay, so now back to Alistair and why we all can't be like him. His high risk appetite. Like, this is why he's made over 2 million and some people haven't even made $2. Look, I'm not even trying to be mean. Look at this. So he did a public relations, and I love his attitude. He did a public relations and marketing project, and the client was like, we are not at the end of the project to rate this, yada, yada, yada. And I'm being forced to whatever. The client is livid. Can you guys see in 1 year, I'm looking at 2016, they are raking him over the coals. And here's the part that blows my mind about Alistair. Alistair goes ahead and like rebuts everything. This is extremely accurate and just goes nuts. And Freelancer's response, like he literally goes in and doesn't let go. Whereas the client gave me bad feedback and I was just like, thanks for the opportunity. I literally did not fight them. Whereas Alistair was like, no, what you were not about to do. So he has a really high risk appetite and he works with clients some of us probably wouldn't, but that is the reason why he's at over 2 million without running an agency. Then we have here, I haven't given a good rating as I didn't enjoy the overall common understanding before signing, yada, yada, yada. Outsourcing was done to save time, but as it was blah, 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 surprised me that he proactively refunded part of the yada, yada, yada. They just, again, right? They like go in and let have on Alistair and he does not let them go easy. So that's the other thing is that we cannot all be Alistair. Some people just don't have it in them like that. And that's also totally okay. And that is it on the blueprint. So I'm going to stop the share and I am going to take questions. The other thing that I was hoping to see people's faces, but that's okay. Hi, Becky. So nice to see you. We never get to see your face, Becky. Nice to see you. Do we have any questions whatsoever? Right now is time for Bosana's one-on-one session. I'm actually late for it. So I'm going to quickly take questions and then we're going to dip. Nicole says, I have been unable to submit a ticket. Do you happen to have any email for support? Please send me a DM inside our squad chat so that I can figure out what it is that you are having trouble with so we can figure it out. Becky's like, I'm shy. What did Kanye West say? We're allowed to quote him again. He's not, the people are saying he's not crazy anymore. Conquer your shyness and embrace your flyness. So welcome to the squad. Any questions, Tato? Are you like, what is this blueprint? We've been talking a lot and I know you haven't been feeling well. How are you doing, Tato? Feeling a little bit better?
Not just a little bit better, but I'm really good.
I hear it.
It's good to be back. Yes, but I don't have any questions. Everything is really good. It makes absolute perfect sense. I've actually been taking notes, so no questions at all. Everything was comprehensive. Thank you so much.
Yay. You're welcome. So exciting. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys know go. I don't know why I said no. I'm looking low key to see if Nkosana is on the call so I can just be like, I'm sorry, but he's not on the call. So we all have to say sorry to him in the squad chat, please, and thank you. Becky says, thanks for having me. I'll take advice. Yes, you will. Keep being fly. It's a good picture. You look fly already. So you look all right. All right, everyone. Hi, Samuel. Nice to see you. Hi, Nandu. Nice to see some names that are not like nighttime names. It's nice to see you guys. All right, everyone. I'm going to go say sorry to Gosana. Everybody, good night. See you guys same time tomorrow, where we will talk more about the blueprint and you guys can ask me more questions about it. All right. Thanks, Tato. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Kaya, for helping me with the hosting. Really appreciate it.